You will recall that members of the Northern Governors Forum met here in Kaduna on the 2nd of November 2020 to engage with chairman of Northern State Traditional Council, led by His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, on the recent developments in the country arising from the NSAS protests and subsequent fallout. The meeting was attended by His Excellency, the Senate President of the Federal Republic, the Honorable Deputy Speaker, and other members of the National Assembly, the Chief of Staff to the President, the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, the Minister of Information and Culture, the Inspector General of Police, and other principal officers of the National Assembly. After exhaustive deliberations, the meeting resolved that there is a need for regular engagements with other critical stakeholders, such as religious leaders, the business community, youth leaders, members of the civil societies, professional groups, among others. This led to the setting up of two major engagement committees, one of which is the Committee on Engagement with Youths and Civil Societies that we are here to inaugurate today. Again, I express our deep appreciation to His Royal Highness the Emir of Zozo for accepting to chair this committee just a few weeks after his installation. You will agree with me that this committee is very significant, not only because of recent issues related to NSAS protests and its subsequent hijack that led to looting, vandalization, and destruction of public and private properties, but because of strategic role that youth play in the socio-economic and political development of the nation. We are all aware that the youth form a bulk of the population of the region and the nation, and as such have a great role to play in the destiny of this country. Their voices must not only be heard, but their opinions and views should also be carried along in governance. Here in northern Nigeria, the challenges facing the youth are enormous and very well known to us. These include unemployment, illiteracy, crime, drug abuse, among others. As leaders, we must not only address these challenges, but also engage the youth in a manner that they own the process to make any initiative successful and long-lasting. That is why the assignment of this committee is very crucial in our agenda of changing the fortunes of our youth from despondency to hope, and from few opportunities to vast windows for self-realization and wealth creation. Our region is blessed with human and material resources, particularly in agriculture, which, if properly harnessed, can turn around the unpleasant condition of our youth and enable them to take the lead in the emancipation of the region. This is bearing in mind that sooner than later, they are going to be in the saddle of leadership. In creating that conducive environment for our youth to flourish, we must tackle the current challenges of insecurity in the region, which are dominated by insurgency, kidnapping, banditry, rape, child abuse, and trafficking, and other conflicts. We shall continue to work with the federal government and security agencies to tackle crime and criminality. That is why we have supported a comprehensive reform of policing architecture in the country, far beyond the scrapping of SARS, to the implementation of community policing and the proper funding and training of police personnel. Like I've explained severally, the Northern Governors Forum is not against disbandment of SARS, as misconstrued in some quarters. We have rather cautioned against the blanket condemnation of the police that can erode the confidence and zeal of hardworking and honest ones to performing their duties of protecting lives and properties. This committee is also saddled with the responsibility of creating a robust interface with members of the civil society within the region in order to facilitate engagement and dialogue that will help advance solutions towards addressing the challenges of the region. We believe such engagements will enable us to collect all shades of opinions and views that will strengthen governance, accountability, as well as generate a proper feedback mechanism that will enhance development. The civil society will create a platform for both government and citizens to synergize and work together for the good of the society. At this juncture, I would like to use this opportunity to again clarify the misrepresentations arising from the suggestion by the Northern Governors Forum that the time has come for some mechanisms to be put in place to ensure that those who misuse the social media or put the lives of others in danger are held accountable. Even though this has been taken out of context by many for reasons best known to them, the reality is that we are also confronted with the negative use of social media for the transmission of fake news, hate speech, and incitement. This was very evident even in these recent events. Innocent persons were maligned, falsely castigated, and even put in danger of attack. This again reminds us of the need to do something to ensure responsible use of the social media space for development and accountability. No one can suppress freedom of speech and expression in a democracy. At the same time, no one should also be allowed to suffer or be endangered through the abuse of such freedom by the irresponsible use of social media by others. For the avoidance of doubt, this position does not intend to gag, muzzle, or suppress freedom of speech and expression of Nigerians. We are only advocating for responsibility and accountability, as any of us can be victims of fake news, hate speech, and incitement. Freedom of expression, as well as we all know, does not equal irresponsibility. The terms of reference of this panel are: 1. To work out various ways of engaging the youth in the North at different levels. 2. To prioritize different programs for youth development in the North. 3. To identify and develop different platforms for the youth inclusion in the governance architecture in Nigeria and the North in particular. 4. Any other recommendations deemed relevant by the committee. The committee has 8 weeks within which to complete its assignment and submit its report.
The expectations from this committee and the need for us to forestall occurrences, future occurrences of what has happened cannot be overemphasized. We want you are the youth, you are the future of this country, and you hold a very rare and great role in the scheme of things within this country. We need to ensure that we have dialogues at all times and that we engage in constructive, we have constructive engagements at all points in time. I pray and I hope that the roles and responsibilities of the terms of reference of this committee, Allah will make it easy for you to deliver on.
Well, I think it's a serious business, and I think it is apt, and I think something really has to be done as it relates to the plight of the youth in order to have a purposeful, peaceful community. They must be included, they must be listened to, their cries must be heard, and really something, a way out should be done. And I think by the inauguration of this committee on youth today, I think something, looking at the membership of the committee, I think something serious is going to be in place. I think is, if you like, is the integration of the youth. Integration of the youth in terms of whatever that make them gainfully employed. It must not necessarily be office work. There are various economic opportunities which will make somebody look after himself. There are so many of these, and I think self-entrepreneurship, I mean serious business, proposals and so on and so forth, so that in the end we'll have the desired peace.
the society can never move forward if the girl child is forgotten. And I want to commend the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum under the able leadership of Barrister Simon Bakula Long, the governor of Plateau State, who has deemed it fit to ensure that the girl among the youths are represented. So you can see, apart from in the membership of the committee, we also have the female youths that are represented. So the issue of the girl child is top on my agenda, because addressing the problems of the girl child is the best empowerment for the future woman, because the girl child is the future mother and she needs to be empowered, and that's why we're emphasizing more on education. Education of the girl child is top on my agenda, and my ministry and the Ministry of Education, we are working very hard to upscale the number of girls enrolled in school, not just enrolled, but retain up to completion. Mr. President is committed, I'm committed, the Minister of Education, we are all fully committed to ensure that we upscale the enrollment, retention of the girl child in school.
I expect frankness, because without us being frank to ourselves, I don't think we will achieve the goals while we are inaugurated. And another thing again is I see openness. Every one of us should be open to one another, and we should be proactive. And another thing I see that this committee, should have at the back of our mind is we should be creative. Creative in the sense that knowing the challenges that are being faced amongst the youths, especially with the NSAS protest that has come and gone. Let's believe it has come and gone. I believe that we'll begin from there. We are going to borrow, some of those issues that we have raised, and I can assure you, with the caliber of people I've seen that are part of this very committee, will be fair and we will do justice, especially in this very great assignment.
We are not only talking about the NSAS process, we are also talking of the challenge of insecurity in the north. I've just inaugurated this committee that will do engagement with youth and civil society. Tomorrow we are engaging another committee that is comprising mostly of traditional rulers and again representatives from the states, from the north, to look at the issue generally of how the traditional council can play a role in solving the problems of insecurity that we have in the nation. Added to that, as our last communique, we said we'll set up a committee for insecurity in the north. That committee has submitted a report. We set up also another committee to look at the economic activities of the north. That committee has also set up. That committee has also finished its report. This one was very important because we say what we witnessed during the NSAS, we have to start engagements immediately. And I'm very happy that it is even chaired by His Royal Highness, who said he's also a youth. He's both a youth in age and also a youth in spirit. So with this committee, I think it will go a long way in addressing. When you address it like this, you find out most of the bandits are also youth. Some of them are youth. So this one will go a long way in doing that, while we're also addressing the issues of the insecurity. They have even finished training. In the north, we embraced community policing. We've sent people for training and they have finished their training, they are back. They are now going to be distributed to their states. So we thank God, and very soon we are going to start implementing our full community policing in the north.
Inclusion, when you look at the government today, we have a lot of shortage in terms of youth representation in the government. We have idleness among our team youth today. We have a low rate of engagement of young people in the government. So with this committee, inshallah, we are going to come up with a strategic plan that will engage the Nigerian youth, inshallah. As a member of this committee, you can recall that Nigerian government have invested heavily in terms of youth empowerment program, but the approach is somehow. So we are proposing to bring back vocational training centers across the nation so that it will serve as a daily engagement center for the youth. We utilize the opportunity to mentor the young ones, to sensitize them, and to talk to them You know, the approach before, they used to gather people on empowerment. After everything, they sold what they gave them. They did keke napep, all these things. So what we are proposing now is to bring back the vocational training center so that it will serve as a daily engagement for the young people.